If you look at even the same composer, in fact, that's why each time when we make a presentation, we say that the Trinity are a class apart, because though they were traditional, they were so innovative in their approach. Be it in the creating of ragas, be it in the creating of, rather using the different talams, and in the different formats of even creating a kriti. And one more aspect which is very, very interesting is that of the Kala Pramana. When we study the compositions of the Trinity, we see that even in the same ragam, different Kala Pramanams or different, that is, speeds of presentation, Kala Pramanam to put it very simply, have been used, and a number of kritis, for example, Tyagaraja has been solely responsible for composing in the ragam Karahara Priya for the first time. Of course, Papanasam Sivan later took on and composed many pieces in Karahara Priya. But the first composer to have composed so many pieces in Karahara Priya, the credit goes to Sri Tyagarajar. And of course, we know that Dikshadhar or Shyama Sastri did not compose any composition in this ragam Karahara Priya. இவர் இவ்வளோ பாட்டு பண்ணாலும் ஒரு பாட்டும் பார்த்தோன்னா it has got different Kala Pramanas, and that also lends room for showing different dimensions of the ragam. It is not just the contour of the swaras, but the speed at which a composition is composed also adds to bringing out different facets of the ragam. For example, if it's in a fast tempo, then the phrases are also so coined that it is that way. And then if it's in a middle tempo in a Mishra Chaputalam, then you see that a different way of presenting the ragam is there. If it becomes a Chauka Kalam, a slow composition, you see that in a very relaxed way the ragam is projected, as if you would see it through a kaleidoscope, where you would see the minute details of the ragam presented in a very elaborate and majestic way. Today, as a sample of this idea, we'll be presenting 3 compositions of Tyagaraja in Karahara Priya, Ramani Samanavero in Rupakatalam, Pakkala Nilabudi in Mishra Chaputalam, and Chakkani Raja in Aditala Rindikale. Again, as I said, this is not a program for us to rush through many things and make it very lively and bubbly with energy, but it is more a matter of introspection for us, because always, as artists also, we are always grappling with the ragam. Everybody will agree with me that the 7 notes are something which we are endlessly trying to discover through so many ragams. It is a pursuit, a lifelong journey with these 7 swaras that an artist undertakes, where each time he goes deep into it, he discovers and discovers and discovers, and yet he says that, oh, I have so much more to discover. That is how the ragam is. And for a Rasika also, for that matter, going intently into the ragam, but it should also requires a lot of patience, in the sense that for an artist also, I say, as much as you give to music, it will give back to you. Similarly, for a Rasika also, as much as you give to music in terms of listening, you get back the pleasure multifold. So now we will listen to 3 compositions. Of course, we will not be able to present them in full, but at least the Pallavi to show you how the contour of the ragam itself can have different colors when it is present in different Kala Pramana. We'll just have first an Alapana of Karahara Priya to show the movements first. that was a Raga Alapana in Karahara Priya. The Raga Alapana as a Manodharma form in our Carnatic music is really a very, very beautiful and aesthetic form, in the sense that, first of all, it is total freedom of space. There is no talam to restrict it. It has got total freedom from lyrics as well, in the sense that syllables like the, rina are used here. So we could say that abstract music in its most pristine and beautiful form is presented through the Raga Alapana. And because of this fact that it is not bound by any talam, you can also see that the artist gets the freedom to use different kala pramanas, that is a fast phrase, a slow phrase, a middle phrase, some brigas, then the different octaves, that is the madhyasthai, mandrasthai, tarasthai, everything can be explored to its maximum in the Raga Alapana. And that's why it's one of the very, very most beautiful form, I would say. Of course, as I always say, our music offers immense possibilities, but within that circle called grammar. That is very important, unlike film music, where you're not bound by any grammar and you have the liberty to use as many notes as possible according to your own imagination. Here the grammar rules the whole system. But that does not mean that the grammar restricts the system. The grammar gives that great freedom and immense possibilities that the artist can explore. And the Raga Alapana becomes one of the most beautiful form. In fact, a maestro can go on for hours and hours doing an Alapana, exploring the ragam in its different gait, exploring the ragam in its different octaves, in its different speeds, and so on. And also, I would like to share that there's a logic behind using the words tadarina. Why not use other syllables? There are so many syllables that are possible. And just while I was doing my research on this concept format study, it was very interesting to note that the ta becomes the most external sound, the da comes next, re becomes next, na comes the most innermost sound, and the a, which is final, is the absolutely natural sound. And also the reason why we don't use e, u, a much as vowels, but a, is the fact that a is again the most natural of sounds. And obviously even when we fall down, we don't shout e or u, we shout a only. So that is again a very natural sound which comes out from us. And in the musical sense, we see that the a is one vowel which can be modulated very effectively from the lowest volume to the highest volume. There are different levels at which the a sound can be modulated. So what I want to say is that a lot of scientific research has gone by our maestros and stalwarts to devise what we call as the concept structure today, not only in terms of the format, but even in terms of the forms which have been a part. Today we may claim many innovations, but tell me one person who, without using a raga, alapana, tanam, neraval or swaram, can create something new beyond this. I can definitely say nobody can do that. We are only using permutation combinations of these to create new avenues. So these are all very scientifically researched forms that have been developed in our system. We will now sing, as I said earlier, 3 songs in 3 Kala Pramanams to show how the same composer Tyagaraja has used tempo as a medium to show different facets of the ragam. First, Ramani Samanaviru. Ramani Samanaviru, 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 Those were three examples to show how the Kala Pramana of the composition can bring out the different facets of the ragam. And obviously, as Rasikas, you would have also observed how beautifully the Sangatis were structured in this particular Chakkani Raja. In fact, Sri Tyagaraja is an architect of our Sangatis, I would say. And the concept of Sangatis has been evolved and developed to such a great extent by him. And we can proudly say that there is no parallel to the Sangati in any other classical systems of the world, be it Hindustani or Western. The Sangati is something, I would say, a unique property of our Carnatic music. To put it simply, the Sangati is nothing but the melodic progression as intended by the composer. That is very important. Here you see that the Sangatis are some things which are created by the composer, whereas in contrast, the same line when taken as a Niraval, there it becomes the imagination of the artist that comes to play. I would like to just present one more example for you to listen more intently to this aspect of Sangati. Eta Unara. Here again, in fact, one of my last presentations I did on Tyagaraja Rasanubhava. Some of you were there for that also. I just was singing it over and over again, and then I could see that there was a beautiful relation between the lyrics and the Sangatis, where he asks Lord Rama, where is your abode? In this beautiful infinite space, I'm not able to see you. Where are you residing? And the Sangati here starts off on the Shadja, and it progresses slowly to the Ri, Ga, Pa, Dha, Ni, and finally to the Sa. And complete round off of the ragam is done, and finally it culminates on to the basic Shadja. So while singing the Sangatis, I was just thinking that Tyagaraja is going in search of Rama, right from earth to heaven, to all the spaces, and finally he lands back on the earth and says, I'm desperate, I'm not able to find out where you are, please help me. That's the kind of feel. So now I'll be singing just the Sangatis once for you. Usually Sangatis are something which are sung twice each, but due to paucity of time, we'll just sing once. And I request you all to listen intently and see how the melodic progression happens in a very logical manner and culminates finally into the Shadja. Where you saw that the Sa has landed properly. The first Sangati Nilakadani on the Rishabha, Nilakadani going to the Gandhara, then the Panchama, Nilakadani, then going to the Dha, Nilakadani. Then going to the Shadja, Nilakadani, and finally he rounds off and comes back. Nilakada Niku, and lands on the Shadja. So this is a very beautiful imagination of the composer, I would say. Like this, there are many examples, and as Rasikas, our Rasikatvam will increase multifold if we look intently also into these aspect of Sangatis, which have been so beautifully interwoven by these composers to make the composition sound so beautiful and magnificent.